Hello, welcome. Yeah, I'm Sarah from Anagrams Productions, and today we're gonna be playing yet another Nintendo Switch otome game called Virche Evermore. This is the first one, I think. I hope. There's another one, Licorice something something. Not quite sure if that's a sequel or a fan disc, but here's hoping this is the first one. And the other one is something else. Yeah, man, I took the last couple of weeks off. I was pretty sick. And even today I'm off camera because I just want to chill and play some video games. And that's what we're gonna do. Granted, this game is probably not very chill, but we're gonna be chill as we're playing it. So, yeah, let's just get started. I have a special place in my heart for this character name. It's also the name of one of my characters. But probably a very different character. Sorry, I was distracted by the fact I actually typed an A. I was trying to confirm, but okay. I gotta say I'm not a fan of the UI just because like it's hard to tell what's selected or not. Because I would think that the brighter one would be selected, but no, actually it's this like black and pink thing.
この国は死神に見入られている。
Yeah. So, voice acting, it's gonna be in Japanese, obviously. If there is unvoiced parts, I will voice them. I'm really excited that I managed to get my monitor to actually display the game with the sound, because for a while, and that's why the stream started a little late, I realized too late that I had accidentally unplugged my HDMI cord from my monitor. But now I can actually hear it. It's very exciting. I was thinking, oh no, because like I could see it in you know, in OBS, which is what I use to stream. So I could see it there. I could see the game there, but I can't hear it from there. Anyway, it's a whole thing.
この国は死に敗北した国である。人々は呪いに抗わず死を繰り返し、終焉とともに生き続けることを選択した。死に愛され、死に呪われたこの国を。
I love that. The curse of death's love.
嘲笑うのははるかに昔。呪いを振りまき、姿を消した死神か。
I love the like the text box has like this blood stain. Like, in case you didn't know, guys, this visual novel is super edgy, okay?
それとも。
But it's also very pretty. I love the rain effect. Oh, oops. And I immediately forgot to start playing things. Start rating things. Under the leaden sky. Yes. There we go. That's what I was trying to figure out how to do. Under the leaden sky, I sat alone in a field of black licorice, surrounded by the symbol of death. In my weakened hand was a single dagger that I could barely grasp. I guess this is it. And I guess the protagonist is not voiced. Darn. The words sparked my memory. I slowly began to recall the faces of all the people I had killed thus far. The first. Of the many souls that were lost, was a young man of 18 years old who had been under the care of the orphanage. I liked him. I thought of him as my own brother, one who would play with me whenever I wanted. But this gentle soul did not receive death's blessing, and in the 6th month after our first meeting, cursed blood spewed from his dying lips. The second was a frail young girl at the orphanage with whom I shared a room and befriended. She was far too young to be loved by death. One morning, I awoke in the bed that we slept in together, only to discover her cold, breathless body lying next to me, with eyes rolled back and mouth agape. The third, a sisterly young woman who stayed with me out of concern for the grieving girl who had lost 2 companions in such a short time. I'm guessing that doesn't bode well for her. It didn't even bother. It didn't even bother to explain. Just the assumption. The assumption that she died a horrible death. The fourth. The friendly twins who fawned over me as though I was their own sister. Wouldn't that be 4th and 5th? The 5th. Like, twins, though. So this should be the 6th. You can't just count 2 people as one person simply because they were born at the same time. A worker at the orphanage who was unsettled by the sight of my isolated existence. The 6th. The 7th. The 8th. So, I guess I'll wait. Oh, maybe it died down, the sound. So it's not that, like, she literally killed them. It's more like she blames herself for their deaths. It's not like she's a serial killer and she killed them. Good to know. Good to know. She was just around them and they died horribly. Wow. Blood stains everywhere. Huh? How many have I counted? That guy was on the cover.
あの娘は死神だ。あいつの周囲にいる人間はみんなこの国の呪いが身を蝕む前に殺される。あの火災も大量の死体もあいつが呪いによって引き起こし殺したものに違いない。
Yes, that may be so. Everything must be my fault. Even the incident in the back alley. I killed them with my powers of death. Who else could it be but the one responsible for the deaths of those who were kind to me? That crimson light was more than enough to make me come to a decision. The hellish memories of my youth returned. Wow. That was pretty horrible. That was definitely a child screeching in pain.
水ちょうだい。喉が焼けて苦しい。
Yep, those are children dying. Yep. Save her. Save her. Yep, that was intense. But that kid wasn't even like, save me. He was saying, save her. Was he saying that about Sarah's? Like... Was that the kid version of the guy from the cover? The images surfaced in my mind as the cold tears slid down my cheeks. Were they memories of my own past death? Or perhaps it was a nightmare to grieve the happiness I was not allowed in this life. I don't have the right to grieve. I positioned the dagger in my hand. A dagger that was his treasure, not mine. The cold light that gleamed from it felt to me like the warmth of a hearth. Yep, we're killing ourselves right now. Yep. So glad this is marked mature. I pointed it to my neck. I couldn't let fear take hold of me now. With each passing day, I lived as death. More lives were lost, wilting away and scattering like licorice petals. They wilted, they scattered, they went up in flames. I could no longer bear it. Dear God, I have killed so many people. I accept that I am a sinner. I have no right to live again. I strengthened my grip on the hilt of the dagger to stop my hands from shaking. And as a single teardrop fell, I brought it toward me. Well, game over. That's all, folks. Protagonist is dead. The sharp metal sank into my throat. My vision turned a vivid red, and I felt my body slowly collapse onto the bed of flowers. Yep, shortest visual novel ever, yep. It was hard to breathe. The burning sensation in my throat flowed through my mouth and a stream of blood. Yes, that's what happens when you stab yourself in the throat. Soon it would paint the black licorice that symbolized this land a deep red, returning them to their original color. I feel like I'm probably saying that flower name wrong. But those flowers, like, I would call them spider lilies, I think. A reddish tinge on black petals would not make much of a difference. It was as though the flowers beneath me were telling me that my death meant nothing. So strange to be mocked by a desolate field. My vision was getting darker. The sinful life of death was nearing its end. I'm sorry. Please. Don't forgive me. Like, normally people's last words are like, please forgive me. Don't forgive me. I'm irredeemable. But please, if possible, please don't bring me back as death. I don't want to kill anymore. My only wish, if I was to be reborn, was to live life as a normal girl. I'm sorry. Whose name did I speak with my last breath? Probably the guy from the cover. I didn't make it in time. Why has this happened? I won't accept this ending. The death that took her from me, the curse, and whoever was responsible. One day I will kill them all. Parting from her fate to kill is what that title was.
この国は死神に見入られている。この国は死に敗北した国である。人々は呪いに抗わず死を繰り返し、終焉とともに生き続けることを選択した。死神は今日も死に翻弄される人間たちを黒きリコリスの花畑であざけりながら見つめ続ける。
Maybe it is licorice, because that's kind of what it sounded like he said. So with the whole talk of being reborn, I was kind of thinking like, oh, is this leading into like, I don't know, an isekai or something? But then the other dude was like, oh no, I don't accept this. So that almost feels more like we're turning back time or something. And I mean, I didn't really expect isekai, considering she had her sprite already in the beginning, which is her sprite. So, like, obviously not gonna have a different body, but I was dreaming. Just like the black licorice flowers. Many, many lives were scattering into the crimson light. The nightmare. The nightmare began in a field of flames. Burning, crumbling. Just yesterday, this was a special place for the smiling children, but wish I didn't have to hear the poor children dying again. It's breaking my heart. So it's the second time that they've talked about, like, reincarnation. So clearly there's a strong belief in reincarnation. I wonder what that is, like, founded in. Do they remember things from their past lives? The boy with the bright, innocent smile who told me that my stew was delicious. It turned into a lump of charred meat that smelled of oil. Wow, thanks for that description. The burning and crumbling continued to rape the lives of those in my tiny world.
水ちょうだい。喉が焼けて苦しい。
Some perished in the flames. Some were crushed by the falling debris from the house. One stood without motion, crying and praying over and over again. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. It's all my fault. It's because I am here. There was no point to my pathetic tears. They evaporated as soon as I shed them. The wall next to me groaned. It soon began to crumble and collapse in flames above me, as though to take my life. With no strength left to run, I closed my eyes and knew that I would soon follow the others who had turned to ash.
ダメだ!
A shadow jumped out of the crumbling wall. I heard the desperation in his voice. That alone was enough for me to understand that it was directed toward me. After all, the boy who had jumped toward me was now enduring the flames and the suffering that should have befallen me. Who are you? Why are you?
諦めちゃダメだ!
The boy groaned in anguish as his face burned, but still he grabbed my hand with strength. He was doing his best to somehow lead me to the exit beyond the collapsed wall. The flames burning his flesh only grew. The kind, strong soul who was trying to save me. His face was melting from the flames. He let out a horrific scream. And with that, the memory ended. That's horrifying. Thank you for burning that into my brain. Pun not intended, but definitely recognized. Oh gosh. Okay, and she's alive. Not dead. I awoke with a silent scream. My body was drenched in sweat, and I could feel my chest heaving with panting breaths. I tried to calm myself, placing my hand over my heart. I felt it beating. I had not been burned, nor was I cold and lifeless, which meant I'm alive? Why was I alive? Just as I had finished uttering those words, another thought arose from within. A dream. I let out a sigh and looked around the room. Yes, this is definitely my room. The images I saw were from my past, a nightmare. All the orphanages looked so similar that my dreams blended easily into reality. Still, why did I dream about that fire? Nothing of note happened before I went to bed. I wonder if it's a sign that... No, just stop, Sarah's. Just the thought of the worst happening makes me feel like it'll come true. I gently shook my head to wake myself up, and heard a light knocking on the door.
セレス？もう起きてる？入っても構わないかしら。
Oh, yes, please come in. I still haven't had a chance to dress yet, but...
そんなこと気にしなくていいのに。私とあなたの仲じゃない？
おはよう、セレス。今日もとってもいい天気ね。
She came in looking as beautiful as always, her habit swaying gracefully. Good morning, Sister Salome. No, wait, I mean... Good morning, Mother.
よろしい。もう、いきなり昔の他人行儀な呼び方に戻ったものだから、私が何かしちゃったかとびっくりしたわ。
I'm sorry, I must have still been half asleep. This is an awkward exchange. Sister Salome. It was 7 years ago, after the events of my fiery dream. The founder of this orphanage took me in when I had nowhere else to go. All of the children raised here, as well as those who have left to stand on their own, lovingly referred to her as Mother. It was she who had instructed us to do so. Yeah, one of those creepy ladies. Not a fan. The founder and matron of the orphanage where the heroine lives. She is regarded as Mother by the orphans. Judging by her appearance alone, I would say she was around the same age as I was. But in this country known as... Man. Whatever the heck that is. Arpekale? Arpekale. Sure. Appearance was the least trusted of all. Then again, going strictly by physical age, no one of 23 years or older existed here. Mother, was there something you needed? A task for me to do right away?
ああ、そうそう。そのためにあなたを起こしに来たのよ。もしよかったらなのだけど、これから全員分の朝食を作るの。手伝ってくれないかしら。そうね。あの子たちの嫌いな野菜ばかりをメインにしたら、全員一目散に逃げ出しちゃうかも。 セレス、あなたの過去や気持ちを考えれば仕方のないことだと思うけど、あなたはちょっと自己嫌悪が人より強すぎると思うわ。少なくとも私は純粋にあなたの手料理を久しぶりに食べたいと思っているのに。ええ、待ってるわ。
マム、すごい！今日のオムレツとっても美味しい。
ふわふわのトロトロ。どうしちゃったのマム。マムはいつもオムレツだけは焦がしちゃうのに。
そうそう、マムがオムレツを成功させるなんて一大事。明日は雨が降るかも。
あらあら、失礼な子たちだわ。でも今日のオムレツが美味しいのは当然のことよ。だってそれを作ってくれたのは他でもないセレスだもの。
あ、
どこへ行こうとしてるのミロ。食事中は用事がなければ途中で席を立たずに最後まで食べて挨拶をする。けれど
I find it a little ironic that through this whole scene I was having the worst coughing fit. Oh, like, man, she even got to me. They were afraid. The moment they accepted a meal from Death's hand, they themselves would be next. Like, no kidding. Man, I thought I was next, and I'm not even in the game. With our uncomfortable breakfast now over, I helped Mother wash the dishes, drying them almost as quickly as she passed them to me.
もうミロったらすっかり反抗期になっちゃって。あなたの手料理に関しては私が何年も食べ続けて無害だと資料付きでちゃんと証明したのに。
Please don't worry. I'm just surprised and happy that most of them actually ate everything on their plates.
そうね。あの子たちもつい身構えてしまうだけで、根本的にはきっとあなたを慕っているはずだから。
Yes, and I'm very lucky to be surrounded by such nice children. But I think it'd be best. I think it'd be for the best if I stayed away from the kitchen for the time being.
セレス。
I don't mean to avoid helping out. Consider it my way of volunteering to do any other work to make up for it. I am your staff now, after all.
ならいいの。でもね、せめて明日の晩に振る舞う予定の3人分の料理だけでもまたあなたが作ってくれないかしら。
Why dinner for 3?
聞いて驚いてちょうだいね。
Uh-oh. That doesn't bode well.
実はゆうべ巡回で通りかかった自警団の人から伝言があって、あなたの大事なお兄様アドルフが明日の晩久しぶりに戻ってくるらしいの。
I have a brother? Is that an actual brother or like a figurative brother in the way that she's a figurative mother?
あさっての巡回担当がこの区域らしいから止めてほしいんですって。
Really? Adolf? The news was so uplifting that I momentarily forgot my natural reflex to appear strong. Adolf used to live at the orphanage with us, and he was now 21 years old. So he has, what, 2 years before he drops dead, according to this world's lore? I used to often cry and look down on myself, and he would always be there to protect me. He was just like a real brother to me. Okay, so, not a real brother, figurative brother. Got it. Since leaving the orphanage, he was now living alone. In Cohen, the commoners' district where he lived, he was the leader of the corps, which looked after public order. Cohen is a district mainly inhabited by commoners with the largest population in Arpeggiale. It retains the architectural style of the country's past and has the highest concentration of orphanages. Yeah, I imagine there must be a lot of orphanages if all the people die at like age 23, right? Like, even if you have kids at 18, like bare minimum, you're only alive until your kids are like 5 and then you drop dead. So yeah, okay, makes sense. Lots of orphanages. Adolf, a young man who lived with the heroine at the orphanage. He's the leader of the corps and the heroine's foster brother.
この間もあの子、北の空根を荒らしていた窃盗団相手に大捕り物をしたらしいし、ここはあの子の活躍をお祝いするささやかな夕食会を3人で開きたいと思って。それならあなたも遠慮なく腕を振るうことができるでしょ？
Yes, if that's the case. Then I'll make Adolf's favorite stew. Suddenly a thought came to mind. But before that, Mother, has Adolf mentioned anything about his health?
Eh?
You know, because of the curse. I know he's strong and probably doing fine, but I'm still worried. Not long ago, another man the same age as Adolf collapsed.
ああ、そのことね。それなら大丈夫。自警団の人に近況を尋ねてみたけれど、健康そのものですって。風邪をひくどころか、咳一つ出ていないそうよ。
I see. That's good to hear.
それじゃあ、早速今日のお仕事をお願いしてもいいかしら。
Absolutely. Should I clean first, or tidy up the place? Or maybe calculate this month's expenses?
お掃除って2回も言った。あなたは本当にお掃除が好きなのね。でも違うわ。今回は夕食会の材料を揃えるためのマルシェへの買い出しと、セルネボルへの手紙のお使いをまたお願いしたいの。
I carried with me the shopping list and the letter given to me by Mother. My first destination was one of the marketplaces in Coen that we called a marsh. It was similar in appearance to the others, but each one varied slightly in terms of stalls and goods offered. Because of the number of orphanages nearby, bread and vegetables were plentiful here. People talking, asking for discounts, women chatting with one another, and...
あれ？お前の屋台なんか綺麗になってねえか？昨日までボロボロだったのによ。
クルーンの2人に直してもらったのさ。あいつらに頼まなかったら今頃買い直しで痛い出費になってたね。
ああ、あの2人か。器用なやつらだよな。俺も前に生まれたばっかの子供の面倒を見てもらったよ。
そうそう、特にイブのやつはあの性格だろ。だからつい1日で直してくれなんて無茶な注文しちまったよ。その無茶を実現しちまうから、あいつのお人よしぶりは恐ろしいよな。
I continued my search through the bustling crowd when...
おい、見ろよ。あの金髪の女、例の施設の。
Man, even the villagers are scared of her.
死神だぜ。間違いない。あそこから出てくるの、久しぶりに見たな。
The people enjoying their conversation suddenly stopped chatting. Their cold eyes turned toward me.
バカ、声がでけえ。目をつけられたら呪い殺されるぞ。呼吸は止められて窒息死するか、高熱が出て衰弱死するか、突然血ヘドを吐いて死ぬか。
いやいや、7年前のあの火災みたいに家ごと燃やされて焼け死ぬかもしれないぜ。
冗談じゃないわよ。私なんかまだ新しい体も用意していないのよ。
A spare body ready? Are people body hopping? Do they have like a weird cloning situation going on? What are we doing here? What?
不意打ちみたいに殺されて完全に死ぬのだけはごめんだわ。
聞けばあの養護施設でもちょくちょく体調を崩してるやつがいるようじゃないか。よく平気で居座れるよな。
All the hushed whispers I could hear were clearly about me. I looked towards the gossipers, and as they met my eye, they quickly turned away with expressions of disgust and fear. Hello, I'd like to buy some things today. I forced myself to smile and appear unbothered by the situation. The familiar routine did not make me feel sad at all, just lonely. The mere sight of death shopping for food somehow struck fear into their hearts. They all watched me from afar with the usual suspicion. That whole scene kind of reminded me of like the opening of Olympia Soiree. It's that same kind of like the heroine is kind of this like local celebrity, but not necessarily in a good way. Although at least in Olympia's Soiree, they talked bad about her behind her back, but like to her face, they were like, "Oh, thank you for saving us from the darkness." But in this case, she provides no benefit, no such benefit. So she's just feared. It was no secret. The soul of death dwelled in my body. You assume. My existence spread misfortune to others, often worse than death alone. There were some out there who laughed off the superstitious story at first. But after hearing the details of my life, their laughter eventually subsided. After all, most who had become close to me for an extended period of time died an early death brought about by sudden accidents or severe illness, which is why I am referred to as Death, the Reaper, and other such names. There were two types of curses that I inflicted upon others. One was contracting an incurable illness of unknown origin after becoming close to me. The other was a particular curse that had happened only once before. The fire. Again, somehow I doubt that was your fault. The memory of flames returned to mind. The curse harbored inside me brought about that great fire. Like, that's not how fires work. It was 7 years ago. At the start of my life, I had lost my parents immediately upon birth. Until the age of 11, I moved from one orphanage to another. My curse was evident even then, with many suspicious deaths occurring around me. Sometimes the founder would die, other times it was the children, or the facility itself would be destroyed. At first, everyone was sympathetic to my plight as an unlucky orphan. But as strange deaths continued to follow me, things slowly began to change. Soon I was regarded as a bad omen and expelled from most places. I finally found myself at an orphanage that was well known and held in high esteem. Not only the adults, but the children were kind to everyone. They gave no heed to the rumors and treated me well, without any hint of fear. They consoled me, understanding the grief of loss and loneliness that I had felt all my life. Before long, I forgot that I was the source of misfortune, and began to live a life of peace and harmony with everyone there. And then, disaster struck. But one day, the happiness I had long sought suddenly crumbled away. It started in the room where I stayed. A room absent of any sources of fire. Out of nowhere, a light sparked through the room, followed by a snapping sound. Suddenly, there was an explosion. The flames that resulted quickly engulfed the facility. All the residents burned to death, except for a young boy visiting the orphanage, who managed to save me in the process. A fire had been born from nothing, killing the innocent children without mercy. How could it be considered anything but a curse, misfortune, even witchcraft? With each fire and each new death from sickness and disease, I carried another sin upon my back, leading the people to refer to me as Death. The nickname given to the heroine after she was the lone survivor of a terrible fire 7 years ago. She is known to spread misfortune in the form of mysterious diseases and death to those around her. It didn't take long for everyone to follow suit. From then on, people threw stones at me. Without a place to go or the courage to take my own life, despite the opening sequence, I finally fell into despair. It was then that Adolf and Mother found me and brought me to the orphanage, where I've stayed to this day. But, you know, that means that she's been close to them for 7 years, and they haven't died yet of horrible curses or whatever. I feel incredible gratitude towards them both. I finished my shopping with that thought in mind, making my way out of the march and toward my next stop to deliver the letter.
みんな、忙しいところすまない。僕の恋人が死んでしまったんだ。遺体を運び出すのを手伝ってくれないか?
I noticed a man asking for help outside a nearby house. What an awkward thing, like, to just, like, knock on your neighbor's door. Like, normally you'd be asking for, like, a cup of sugar or something, but here, no, it's, yeah, hey, my girlfriend died. Can you help me carry the body? Oh, gosh. Yeah, despite the solemn nature of death, he spoke with a levity in his voice.
ああ、そういえば、お嬢さんはそろそろ23歳だったが、かなり長生きした方だよな。
研究所の方に誓約書は提出しているか？それから遺伝子と記憶のバックアップも。
The gene and memory backup.
それはもちろん。そのためにお金を2人で稼いできたんだからね。さあ、急ごう。早く研究所まで遺体を持って行って。彼女のクローン体を作ってもらわないとだ。
Yeah, okay. So we are doing clones. Wow. Wasn't expecting that. But okay. I mean, I guess. Like, you know, if you keep dying before you even turn 23, like, gotta keep the population going somehow. The people quickly got to work, familiar with what was a common routine to them. A few minutes later, the body of the woman was carried away on a makeshift stretcher in a somewhat careless manner. Her face was left uncovered, and it felt strange to see them carry her away like a bundle of bones. I suppose the way everyone treats the dead differs. It wasn't particularly surprising. Both the casual reporting of the death as well as the way they carried away the body. The process was considered normal here. I continued on my way to deliver Mother's letter, walking in the same direction as the body that was disappearing into the distance. A thought came to mind. That man's girlfriend died just before she turned 23 years old. That's incredible. It's quite a feat to live that long. Maybe she was as healthy and strong as Adolf.
「四方を海と黒いリコリスに囲まれた小国アルペシエール。この国で生まれ育った人間ははるか昔この土地を司る死神が振りまいたという恐ろしい呪いにより長くとも23年しか生きることができない。
First, the curse slowly ate away at one's lungs. Those of frail constitution usually had symptoms arrive in early youth. Once the person reached 20 years of age, an unsettling fatigue and breathing difficulties set in, and when they reached 22, they succumbed to various ailments, exhibiting more severe symptoms of their aging. Should a person somehow survive until 23 years old, they were on the brink of death, unable to even get out of bed. None made it to the next year, and they all met their end by vomiting blood and suffocating to death. Gosh, that's a horrible way to go.
万人に等しくいびつな死が降り注ぐこの国を。
A curse of death, an unfortunate state that keeps the people of Arpeshile from living past 23 years old. The mysterious curse is said to have been originated by death in ancient times.
かつてただ一人この地に流れ着いた異国からの来訪者。今は漂流者と呼ばれる多くの知識をもたらした一人の青年は恐れこう呼んだ。
Drifter, a man who came to Arpegile from another country. His real name is unknown and is simply referred to as the Drifter.
死神に見入られた国。
Arpegile, a small country surrounded by the ocean and black licorices. Those born in this country can only live up to 23 years due to the curse of death. Indeed.
っていう言い伝えがこの国にあるのは君も知ってるよね。でね、なんでも噂だとクーネにいる一人の女性がとある事情でその死神本人の生まれ変わりや死神の使いと呼ばれていて、たくさんの人間から怖がられてるんだって。ねえ、僕の話。
ええ、聞いていますよ、坊ちゃん。
I like him. Kind of giving me Sebastian vibes if Sebastian was prettier.
坊ちゃんは本当にそういった伝承や物語の類に目がありませんね。
I mean, Sebastian from Black Butler, of course, is very pretty, but not to the level of these guys. These guys are real pretty boys.
俺としては歴史書や物語よりもまず通信教育の課題に目を通していただきたいものですが。
明日からやるよ。
およそ人類史においてその言葉ほど信用できないものはないと。俺はあのお方とのお付き合いに基づき、そう確信を得ております。本当にそういうところばかりがそっくりに成長してしまって。それでどうして急にそのようなお話を？もしやとは思いますが、坊ちゃん、空想好きのあまりその死神と呼ばれる女性に会ってみたいなどというつもりでは？
まさか。今のはただ僕にはそれよりも命を懸けてでも優先することがあるの。
His long pauses keep making me think that he's done talking, but then he's not. So sorry, I didn't mean to skip through some of his dialogue.
君だって知ってるでしょ？
それはそうですが。
最初はその件にその女性が関わってるのかと調べてみたけど、奴の手口とは全然違うから、多分無関係だと思
う。なるほど。確かに女性があのようなむごたらしい殺しをするなどにわかには信じがたい。
うん。でもちょっと彼女かわいそうだ。いくら変な噂があってもこの国に生まれなければ死神なんて呼ばれ方されなかったんじゃないかな。歴史からすればこの国の状況はまだ好転した方らしいけど。
It began around 60 years ago. Located at the country center was the research district, Cernaval, where a particular technology was employed. Cernaval, the district located at the center of the country, the most advanced district in Arpachile, where the National Research Institute is located. Gonna say, the glossary has not been particularly helpful. Like, I feel like a lot of the glossary entries have just, like, rephrased the thing that they already told me. Like, for example, that one, like, they just told me that the research center was in Cernaval or whatever, and then the glossary was like, Cernaval is the district where the research institute is. Like, yeah, you just told me that. That's not useful. It doesn't give me any, like, additional interesting insight. Altering the concept of life and longevity.
はい。こちらの手紙の方、確かにお預かりしました。明記された ID に該当する研究員へ必ずお渡ししておきます。
The district was located a ways from Koen. The people here had heard the rumors about me, but no specific details about who the person was or what they looked like. Which was why I was able to hand the letter directly to the guard working at the largest research facility without any issue. Thank you very much. I appreciate your help. I walked away from the gate, then turned back and looked again at the grand structure. The research facility was closest to the castle where the royal Revepoir family, which ruled over Arpeggiole, resided. These are also just like really tough names. I'm getting a maybe like a French vibe. Once upon a time, maybe I would have known how to pronounce these things, because I did study French for a little while. I studied abroad in France for a while, but by now I've forgotten it all. I had visited this facility a number of times to deliver letters for Mother, but I had never stepped foot inside, not even once. I wonder what kind, like, why is the sister Salome, or whatever her name was, why is she constantly sending letters to the research institute? Is she spying on Ceres? Is she like reporting back on? That'd be interesting. It'd be interesting. Come to think of it, I wonder who the letter was for. Yeah, exactly. My long-held curiosity finally came out in words. The letters I delivered had something called an ID on them that was assigned to those who worked at the research facility. Based on that, I assumed Mother's friend or acquaintance was a research worker here. I am still surprised that she knows someone at the institute. Is Mother some kind of prominent figure by chance? Or perhaps she used to work here herself? I then noticed a number of people exiting the facility. Isn't that...
この度は大変お世話になりました。クローン体になるのはこれが初めてですけど、聞いていた以上に快適なんですね。
I presume that's the dead girl from before.
死ぬ直前の倦怠感や苦しさが嘘のようでしょ。
Oh, that's horrifying. This is so horrifying. Oh, and I totally forgot to... She nodded joyfully, and I realized she was the person who died back at that house in Koen.
本当に無事に終わってよかった。これでまた二人支え合いながら一緒に暮らせるね。
Yeah, forget about the agonizing death you had. Which, as someone who has watched multiple family members die from cancer, it's not pretty, and it's actually kind of traumatizing caring for them as they slowly succumb to a horrifying illness. So I do not believe for a second that this guy is like, oh yeah, everything will be fine, everything will just go back to like how it was before. Like, can it though? Can it really? You're telling me you're not gonna be haunted by the nightmares for the rest of your life? Dude. But maybe he's just like so delusional. Like, I mean, to be fair, if you have that like knowledge that like, oh, you know, that death isn't real, we'll just clone her and everything will be fine. Like, maybe that allows you to like disassociate enough that you're not as traumatized by the whole ordeal. But I don't know, it's creepy.
ええ、まあ、そうね。
I was certain she was the same person, especially after seeing that man from before standing next to her. It didn't take long for her to return. On her arm was a brand new insignia shining brightly, one that she didn't have on her previous body. Based on what I could gather, it seemed that she chose to live the same life for another 23 years before dying from the curse again.
はあ？子供向けの教科書を作りたいからあの技術の概要について説明する資料を作れだと？いきなり何を言い出すかと思えば、その程度わざわざ学ばずともこのクソ狭い国で暮らしていれば自然と得られるだろうが。
It's an interesting neck tattoo.
それでも書けたと？将来有望な研究員となる子供たちを輩出できるように？善行と見せかけた偽善どころか、お前の自己満足に過ぎ無駄な悪あがきだな。だがまあそうだな、気分転換にはちょうどいい。的確だが適当な分で構わないのなら書いてやらんでもない。さてでは4日ぶりの1時間休憩、無駄にしないためにも。
An hour's break in 4 days. That's not great. I mean, but it kind of makes you wonder, in this world where if you die, they can just put you in a cloned body, then aren't people kind of disposable? Like, you could just work yourself to death and then like, oh, just put me in a cloned body, I'll be fine. And maybe working yourself to death is a better fate than the absolute horrible agony that you would die from otherwise. That's depressing.
5分以内に丸ごと書き上げてやるとしよう。
The people here languished in their short-lived existences, but harnessing the knowledge and technology from the Drifter returned hope to them. After extensive research, a unique system was created to extend the people's longevity.
それを可能としたのは2つの技術。クローンの作成システムと記憶のダウンロードシステム。 呪いにより限界を迎え死を迎えた肉体を破棄、代わりに本人の遺伝子から作り出した人に酷似した生命、つまりはクローン体へとあらかじめ脳から取り出しておいた記憶データを移行し、同一人物として生命活動を再開させる。この方法により国民は限りある23年の人生を 繰り返すことが可能となった。この技術を用いクローン体となって永遠と23年生きては死んでを続けていく この国特有の生命のことを
リライバーと
Reliver, a form of life specific to Arpetulae that was created to extend people's lives. They are made by downloading memory data into clones from backups recorded by the original person before death. This technology allows people to revive repeatedly, each life lasting up to 23 years.
人々はそう呼び、あるいは名乗っています。
But here's the question. Do you pick up where you left off? If you died at 23 or 22, I guess, and you live another 23 years, would you then be 46? Would you physically look 46? Or are the clones ageless? And so you live for 23 years without aging? Because they talked about how the sister was, like, she looked young. She looked the same age as the protagonist, but she's probably lived a much longer life, but that implies that her physical body is much younger than what it would normally be if she had just lived one life. A gentle voice spoke to the children about the nature of life in this country.
先生、リュカ先生。教科書をそのまま読むのじゃよくわかんない。そうそう、もっとシンプルに教えてよ。
わかりました。ではまずはリライバーがどのような手順で生まれるのか、それを一から追っていきましょう。うんうん。大変良いお返事です。まだ授業も始まったばかりだというのに素晴らしい。先生はもう皆さんに100点満点を差し上げたい気分ですよ。
じゃあ今日の授業はもう終わりでいい？
それはダメですね。授業をおろそかにするなど、そんな悪いことをするような子には先生が怖い罰を与えてしまいますよ。例えば100点満点からマイナス点へ成績を減らしてしまうとか。
やめてよ。マムにご褒美のケーキ買ってもらえなくなっちゃう。
Upon my return to the orphanage, I came across our usual visiting teacher in the middle of lesson with the children. Seeing the lively class environment, I couldn't help but admire his ability to motivate the children's desire to learn. The lecturer was Lucas Proust, a traveling teacher who holds classes at various facilities, including the orphanage where the heroine lives. He is a devout follower and believer of God and regularly attends church. He traveled across the country, visiting orphanages and other homes in order to educate children and academics. He was also an avid churchgoer and a devout believer in God. Another example of the glossary just told me the exact same thing I got from the text. I was careful not to interrupt their lesson. I moved to the corner of the room to put away the groceries I had purchased, then quietly moved on to some daily chores. Come to think of it, we're out of cleaning rags. I guess I can make more using some scraps. It shouldn't make too much noise. Class continued as I got to work. But I couldn't seem to keep from listening in on their lesson, going on so close by. Uh-oh.
失礼。それでは授業を再開します。次のページを開いてください。リライバーを作成する手順はおよそ4段階に分かれています。まずは存命時にあらかじめその人の力得られる遺伝子を保存。次にあるいはほぼ同時に引き継がせたい時点の記憶データのバックアップを脳から抽出し作成。そしてオリジナルの肉体が死亡、研究所へと報告、しかるべき手続きをした後に遺伝子からクローン体を作成、そこにバックアップした記憶をダウンロードすることでリライバーは無事に完成です。簡潔に述べれば、死ぬたびに自分のクローンを作り、人格と記憶をそこに移行することで延命するということですね。この呪いによる死を超越するためのすべての処理は、この国の中枢に位置する国立研究所が所有する特殊な装置とシステムによって行われています。
でもリライバーになってもまた23年で死ぬんでしょ？
ええ。なのでその都度さっきと同じ手続きや作業を繰り返す必要がありますね。
Lucas smiled and explained to the children that this was because a downloaded memory file could only be used once.
逆に言ってしまえば、何度死んでも申請とバックアップさえしていれば蘇ることができるということになりますが、一教師としては命を軽視し消費するような価値観は皆さんには持ってほしくありませんね。
確かに言われてみると、町の稼いでる大人たちって死んでもリライバーにできるからいいやって特に悲しまないで、家族が死んでも割とあっさりとしてる人多いよね。
リュカ先生、うちの子たちはお行儀よく授業を受けているかしら？
ええ、みんな積極的に自らの世界を広げようとしてくれるいい子たちばかりですよ。ああ、そうだ。ちょうどサロメさんも来てくれましたし、この国におけるリライバーの立ち位置をご一緒に説明していただければと思うのですが、いかがです？
構いませんわ。具体的な例があった方が子供たちもわかりやすいでしょう。
さて、ここまでリライバーの仕組みと重要性について説いてきましたが、何もアルペシエールの全国民がリライバーというわけではありません。それはまだ純粋な人間である皆さん自身が誰よりも自覚していますね。
うん、僕バックアップなんて取ったことない。
リライバー同士で結婚し子をなしても生まれてくるのは純粋な人間だけですから。
現にリュカ先生もリライバー同士の子で、そしてまだ純粋な人間のままでしたわよね。
ええ。対してサロメさんはすでに数度人生を繰り返されているリライバーだったかと。
そう言われてもマムだって普通の人間にしか見えないよ。リライバーと普通の人間って見た目で区別できるの？
もちろん。私は厚着しているから隠れてしまっているけれど、リライバーになった人の肌には識別のため入れ墨によく似た特殊な文様がどこかに浮かんでくるの。文様の絵柄はクローン体作成時遺伝子に呼応して自動的に描かれるから、他人が全く同じ柄を有していることはまずないわね。血縁関係のある兄弟や親子なら多少は似ているかもしれないけれど。
Yeah, I feel that. Kids. The wordy explanation made the kids sigh. I'm like, man, this is a lot of like world building and exposition all just like dumped on us at the beginning. I mean, we're an hour and a half in, and I feel like all we've done is world building.
はい、それではそちらにいるみんなの先輩こと私の元教え子セレス君。
And like, you know, they've really put a lot of thought, I guess, into like the specifics of this world and how it works, but man, I don't know that I care this much. Like, none of that matters if I don't care about the characters, and I don't know enough yet about any of the characters I've met so far to care about any of them.
ここで問題です。先ほど少し触れたリライバーになるのに必要なしかるべき手続きとは何でしょう？
She's just like off in her own little world. Let me see. After I make the rags, I should get to clean the halls and the storage room. I have a brand new broom, so I should be able to clean the place more easily now. I can't wait to put it to good use. Oh, I also have to wash the children's clothes. They're pretty dirty after they have played in the mud. As for tonight, I should ask Mother if there have been any other expenditures. Huh? As I was about to finish sewing a rag, I stopped for a moment, suddenly noticing everyone looking at me. I'm sorry, but are you talking to me?
はい、呼びました。
Lucas gave a friendly smile, expecting my response.
授業内容は聞こえていましたよね。
Clearly not.
覚えている範囲で構いませんので、この子たちに正解を教えてあげてくれませんか？
Well... Hey, we actually got to a choice. I think I'll let her explain it. That was an interesting glitch effect. Does that mean I chose the wrong option? I believe Mother can explain it much better than I could, especially since she was in the middle of her explanation already.
そう言わずに。 先生は久しぶりに君の声が聞きたいのです。
Well, if you insist. I dove deep into my memories to come up with the best answer I could. If I recall correctly, I believe you need an official pledge issued by the Institute to become a reliver.
誓約書
Oh, imagine that someone's about to die, or maybe someone who is already dead. What if this person was revived as a reliver when they didn't want to be revived? That would be bad, right? So there's a need to protect people from being forced into becoming a reliver by others, which is why a pledge is needed to confirm that the person wants to become a reliver. So in order for a person to become one, they have to state their intent to the Institute and put their pledge into writing. Pledge. Paperwork used to confirm one's commitment to becoming a reliver. This prevents abuse, such as forcing someone to become a reliver. Of course, there are a lot of other rules and restrictions that need to be followed, but I think you'll learn that some other time.
お見事。100点満点の回答です。加え、リライバーになるにはある程度まとまったお金を支払う必要があるので、その契約書としても機能していますね。
I breathed a sigh of relief at his words of approval.
現にクーネにいる人の多くはお金を貯めてリライバーになるために毎日一生懸命働いているでしょ。
The children all nodded in response.
みんなそうしてるってことはやっぱり僕たちもいつかはリライバーにならないとダメなんだよね。
いいえ、決してそんなことはありません。
Lucas quickly corrected the children as anxiety began to settle upon their minds.
リライバーになれば確かにこの国の死の呪いからかろうじて生き延びることはできます。ですが、それをあえて拒否し、23年以内にその生を終える人も少数派ながらいるのですから。
そうなの？
For some reason, the child turned and asked me instead of the teacher. He's right. For example, the people who live beyond the sea live differently from us. They're able to live far beyond 23 years without becoming a reliver. You've heard before that they can spend however many years they can until they have grayed hair and wrinkles, right? Some people really admire that. They see relivers as fake humans with fake bodies, so they don't care much about reviving.
神より賜った人間としての自然の摂理を維持したまま、短くも幸福な人生を全うする。
That's sounds like he's speaking from personal experience. I'm getting the vibes that he's a tragic romance option because like he's already obviously starting to feel the effects. He was coughing earlier, so he's already starting to get sick. His body's already starting to fail. But because he's so like such a devout believer in God, he doesn't want to be a reliver. And so if you romance him, there's probably gonna be all sorts of drama and tragedy, like, no, I don't want you to die, but I have to. This is how I want to go. But then there's like, but maybe he should do it, but it goes against his beliefs, and yeah, I can start to see that.
そんな死に向き合う勇気ある選択をできる人間がこの国にもいるということをどうか覚えておいてください。 いいですか皆さん。繰り返し言いますが、リライバー化は義務ではありません。そのあり方に疑問を抱いたのなら、徹底的に思考を巡らせ、時には周囲とも意見を交換し合い、この死に呪われた国で短い生をどう生きていくのか、自分なりにしっかりと将来のことも踏まえて考えてみてくださいね。それでは次のページへと進みましょうか。ここからの知識がさらに重要でして、この国に革命をもたらしたリライバーも決して万能の技術ではなく、お金以外にもまだ大きな代償を払う必要がありと。おや、もうこんな時間ですか。
How convenient that he got interrupted before examining the price that these people have to pay. At the sound of the wall clock, Lucas closed his textbook.
以降の内容は長くなりそうなので、それでは皆さん、今日も先生と楽しく勉強してくれてありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
That was class was dismissed. Mother guided the children to the main room to play, rest, sleep, or lounge to their heart's content. Thank you for teaching the children such an important subject. In Mother's absence, I thanked Lucas for his service.
いいえ、お礼を言うのは私の方です。とっさの質問に応じてもらえて本当に助かりました。リライバーについては教えるべき知識が膨大で、どうしても説明が長くなってしまいがちですからね。ああいう風に変化や刺激を起こしつつ授業しなければ飽きて寝てしまう子も多くて。
I see, so that was to try and keep their attention. I have to say, you always look like you're having fun whenever you teach the children, regardless of the subject.
ええ。私の敬愛する慈悲深き神に倣い、無垢でいい子な子供たちが自分らしい生き方を選べるよう、必要な知識を教え、導いていく。教師はまさに神から与えられた私の天職だと思っていますよ。
Lucas clasped his hands together in appreciation as he spoke. He began visiting this orphanage several years before receiving his teaching credential, issued by the Institute. Back then, Mother and another teacher taught me the very basics of education. I may have only learned from him once before, perhaps twice. On that basis, it was difficult to say that we knew each other well, but for some reason, Lucas didn't seem to concern himself with the rumors about me. Instead, he treated me as if I was one of his students, speaking to me in a friendly manner, despite my lack of conversational skills. Suddenly, a certain memory flashed through my mind, likely in response to the class, as well as my recent thoughts about the past. Come to think of it, Lucas, if I'm not mistaken, you're 22 this year, aren't you? If so, then...
はい。私にも決断の時が近づいています。むしろ今からでは遅すぎるぐらいでしょうか。
Which meant that he still hadn't made preparations to become a reliver and overcome the curse of death. Lucas coughed slightly, no doubt from the effects of the curse. Every so often he coughed like this. It was a reminder of the death that awaited him. Are you all right? let me get some water. Maybe I should move away from you too.
いえ、お構いなく。おとなしくしていればすぐに収まります。何より君の存在の有無が体調に影響を及ぼしているわけでは決してありませんから。ほら、もう元気に。
He forced himself to take a deep breath and gave a gentle smile. But you're forcing yourself to look fine even though you're not, right?
かもしれません。この咳との付き合いにもすっかり慣れてしまいまして。今ではちょっと深呼吸をするだけで発作が収まったりします。
He went on to add that he was also taking medicine for his condition every day. That's amazing. I've never seen or heard of anyone able to suppress the side effects of the curse. The curse of death that haunted the country didn't strike exactly when a person turned 23 years old. It was rare to encounter people who actually lived to 23 while remaining healthy. Lucas working at 22 and Adolf still being able to swing a sword at 21 were among the exceptional cases. The side effects from the curse were very similar to the nature of disease itself. The talented scientists at the Institute continued to conduct research day in and day out, but they hadn't been able to uncover the truth behind the curse of death. If he can turn himself into a reliver, then he could probably continue his work as a teacher, free from the suffering of the curse. But
この国に革命をもたらしたリライバーも決して万能の技術ではなく、お金以外にもまだ大きな代償を払う必要がありま。
Assuming he does become a reliver, what would happen if he lost his passion and love as a teacher for his students?
セレス君。
Noticing my silence, he spoke my name. I looked up and saw his beautiful face, giving me a reassuring smile to ease my troubled thoughts.
私のことなど気にせず、どうか君も将来は悔いのない選択をしてください。健やかに、自分の心にまっすぐであれ。それが先生が教え子に願うたった一つのことです。
Alright. It's almost 9 o'clock. I think I will end it there. Yeah, I like the vibe. I like that atmosphere. But, man, so much world building. Oh my gosh. What? It is like a 2-hour exposition dump. I can't. I don't care. You should be spending this time to make me care, game. We were starting to get into it a little bit at the end with Lucas. Again, that like, you can start to kind of see the thread of where that might go. But yeah. Overall, it was interesting. The premise is obviously very interesting, and they know that, and that's why they've been pushing it. But man, I could I could do with 50% less world building. Or like, you know, world build, tell me about this stuff later once I actually care about the people and the world, and I don't know. I get that they're building an atmosphere, but like none of this stuff is really relevant right now. Like the whole process of like how exactly do you become a reliver, like it is not relevant to anything that is happening. Partially because nothing has happened. She had a nightmare, which was interesting. It gave us a little bit of backstory, but still, it was just a nightmare, so it didn't really matter, other than giving us a slight perspective into the character. But then they reiterated like the same fire sequence twice. I don't get what was the point of that. And then she made breakfast and she went shopping. And then we got an exposition dump, and that is all that happened in 2 hours. It's a good reminder of why I tend to enjoy indie visual novels better than Japanese ones, because indie visual novels are generally under more budget restraints, and so they tend to be shorter and more to the point. Whereas this just, man, I want to be interested in it, but it did not hook me. So I don't know. I might end up playing more of it, but I don't know. We'll see. So next week, I probably, like, I might be back next week, but I probably won't. I probably won't. At least from this title screen, it seems like we've met all the love interests, maybe? We met the researcher guy and the old Duke guy. That's loud. Here we go. So we met the researcher guy and the teacher and the little Duke. Sad that I don't think the butler is romanceable based on the cover art. And then we met the guy with half his face burned off. That's the one who saved her at the orphanage. And then in the background is Alphonse. And I don't know who the other guy was. Maybe we haven't quite met them all. But yeah, it was actually, like, I feel like it's almost a similar setup to Olympia Soiree. And so it's kind of funny that I played those back to back. With a couple weeks in between, I guess, but you know, they're both on this like isolated island with this curse that threatens the people, and both have like this whole complicated reason for existence. And the main character is special and you know, has this unique power and is isolated because of it. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, okay, so I was getting into my plans going forward. I might be back next week, but probably not. I probably won't. When whenever I take a break, even if it's like a forced break, because I was sick, it starts to feel like an obligation to come back and play the game that I promised I would play 2 weeks ago. And I don't like it when things become obligations. So I'm probably gonna take a break until uh, I feel the desire to stream again, which could be a week, could be a couple months, I don't know. We'll just see. And it kind of also depends on if I find or run into or just think of some games that like I'm really excited to play and share with you guys. But like the last couple of weeks I've been playing Assassin's Creed Shadows, and that's been a lot of fun, but not really the kind of thing that I would stream, because let's be honest, I've spent 40 hours so far just like running around doing random stuff. And not the story at all. I have no clue what's happening in the story. the little thing just says go kill people, and I kill the people, and no sense of the story or narrative that's going on there. But that's okay. It's not really why I play Assassin's Creed games. Definitely play them for the carnage. So anyway, yeah, we'll just see how it goes, and hopefully I'll be back at some point. I'm sure I'll be back at some point. Until then, have fun, play some games, and have a good time. Thanks.